What's up, party people? It's your boy Born Shining here. I'm Born Shining. You're Born Shining. We're all Born Shining. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about what I call the new Black Plague. All right. Um, and I'll go into a little bit of a backstory about how I came to be. But first, I want to give a shout out to the universal life force, the great creator, spirit which moves through all things. I want to give a shout out to Ra, my ancestors and spirit guides, the ascended masters, archangels, spirit animals, crossover loved ones, all my friends, known and unknown, seen and unseen, and all my invisible helpers. And yeah, so this video is about the new Black Plague, and I came up with this idea maybe 2 weeks ago. I was doing a guided hypnosis with a friend. We get together and we it started. We took an intuition course, and so it's been progressing. And originally, it started as we were just doing readings for each other and intuiting information. And then about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we started doing these somnambulance sessions, which is basically like a hypnotic state. And so we would guide. At first, I guided her into a hypnotic state, and then she guided me into a hypnotic state, and we'd ask questions of our subconscious. And so, what I, when it was my turn, we were going through and asking some questions, and I got this image of um, the masquerade mask, the like that they wear at Mardi Gras. At the time, I equated it to the mask from the movies Eyes Wide Shut. But anyway, so my friend told me what it meant, and it's not that I didn't believe her, but I like to do my own research, and so it turns out that what she said was true, and that this mask was worn by doctors during the Black Plague, and they actually wore whole body suits, but they had the masks had long noses, so they could stuff herbs and stuff in there that would somehow prevent the plague, because that's how they thought that this was spreading, was through the air. And so as I started looking into this and kind of reflecting more about it and what that had to do with me and the questions that I was asking, I feel like my purpose here is to I guess in a sense I guess I would say a spiritual doctor. I am a healer and energy worker, but on a larger level, like what's my purpose? And so this mask, as I was looking into it, this mask means to me, like how does this mask about the Black Plague, how is that relevant? What does that mean today? And it got me thinking, and I think this is kind of what I came up with, is that this idea of the Black Plague, right? That there's this thing that's like floating around or running all over the place. It's kind of uncontrollable and it's killing people and it's invisible. You don't know where it's going to strike from and all this kind of stuff. I see that as being relevant in the sense that, like, the new Black Plague is this idea that life sucks, like life is hard, life sucks, that this place is hell, things only get worse, the only thing in life is death and taxes, this kind of thing. Like, you have to choose between the lesser of two evils, the devil is better than the devil you don't, and all this sort of bullshit, and I think that I'm here to, like, say to hell with that shit. This life is a gift. This place is a gift. And not only that, a lot of the people who are saying that kind of thing or promoting those kinds of ideas are the same people who are the ones fucking up the world, fucking up the planet. So why buy into that? I mean, if you have the power to choose and invest your faith in anything, why would why choose that? You know, why choose that? And so I think that, that's what we're looking at, is this, like, this spread of disease, but it's not even like a physical virus. It's more of a mental virus of an idea that things only get worse. Like, health is a one-way street. Once you get sick, there's no coming back. Um, be afraid, because the body is frail and fragile, and yeah, once you get sick, there's no coming back, and health is a one-way street, and all that kind of bullshit. And, like, obviously these people haven't seen what I've seen, because I've heard a ton of firsthand accounts of people who have healed themselves, and tons. And I mean, whether we're talking about people that have healed themselves from cancer and all kinds of other crazy shit, like crazy depression, crazy anxiety, um, fuck, even diabetes. You know, I mean, I haven't heard of anybody regrowing a limb yet, but I wouldn't imagine it's not too far away. I mean, but it doesn't stop there. It's the same. It's also has to do with the environment. You know, there's a really awesome guy by the name of Chris Trump, and he talks a lot about, his whole thing is Korean natural farming. Natural farming. He's a soil smith. He makes his own plant food, and he revitalizes the health of the soil in order to get healthy plants. Well, he bought an orchard in Hawaii, and apparently on that orchard there was several pathogenic funguses growing in the roots of some trees that experts said were incurable. And wouldn't you know it, he got rid of those. And I mean, he did it in a certain way. It was very methodical and very scientific, but he did it. So the larger point here is this whole idea, this black plague of ideas, is that these people who want to sell you on the idea that the world's going to hell in a handbasket and all of these other bullshit ideas are the same people who are actually taking action to make those fears a reality. I see it more as like a self-fulfilling prophecy, is that these people are going to tell you how bad everything is, and once you invest on that, then they take it a step further and they make it even worse. But I mean, it's not that I don't believe that there's people are doing those things. I just don't think that that's the end of the story. You know, like, why do we need to choose between their two options? Because it's all loaded, folks. It's all loaded. You know what I mean? Do you want this drug or that drug? Well, hell, I don't want either one of them. Stick them up your ass and give me some natural medicine. You know, like, point me to the people that are living examples of overcoming these things that you say are insurmountable. These obstacles that you say are insurmountable. I mean, the whole idea is that there's people who have been running this planet. I mean, in the West, all right? I'm not going to say the whole world, but at this point, that's kind of where we're at due to globalization and whatnot. We've got all kinds of indigenous cultures that are abandoning their age-old methods of everything in order to have a KFC and a McDonald's. You know, it's everywhere. So the real pandemic is this idea that there's only a certain number of outcomes that are possible in this realm. And if you believe that, that's up to you. But I don't subscribe to it, because I've seen and heard plenty of evidence of people who have been overcoming these challenges. Hell, I've even overcome a lot of my own health challenges. Me personally, I was born to a soldier. And for the longest time, I didn't realize what was happening inside of me. What was going on internally. I didn't know. I was just having my experience and trying to make the best of it. But come to find out that trauma can be inherited, and you can pass those things along to your children. The mother can pass along the traumas that she experienced to her child, and there's a very strong correlation, I guess. What was it in the Dutch during the 1940s, 1950s? I guess I believe it was the Dutch. Anyways, the Nazis starved a lot of people in Europe, and the descendants of those people who had that experience experienced health problems as a result of the traumas that were experienced by the older generations. So as I learned this, you know, as a child, a developing fetus in the womb of a female soldier, I can only imagine how there was what was happening. What kind of environment was that? I mean, my mom is a pretty optimistic person, at least externally. She presents as a um, as a positive person. I mean, fuck, she's a Marine, so like, in that sense, she has a lot of confidence and she adapt and overcome. I mean, she's kind of unstoppable. And at the same time, being a soldier, I think there's an inherent subconscious feeling that something's going to happen or you're going to have to fight or something along those lines. So, what I inherited was this anxiety, that this constant, like, something's coming around the corner kind of boogeyman feeling. And so I've had to do a lot of work, to a lot of like learning, a lot of self-healing, different, whatever I felt called to do, I was doing it because I wanted to be free of that. And so even in my own experience, I have overcome a lot of things that most people aren't even aware of, let alone don't think it's possible to heal. So me, in my own personal experience, I'm a living example of of the idea that you don't have to, you can overcome the circumstances into which you were born, and you can create a better life for yourself. Certainly I'm not where I want to be, but in some ways, financially, I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm working on that I would like to be, I want to see changed and evolve. But at the same time, compared to where I was, I'm I'm a success. I'm a success story. I'm living proof that it's possible to break out of these kinds of constraints that are inherited. And it's just this idea that you know you are what you are, and you just have to deal with it. You just have to make the best of it, put a smile on your face, and try and be positive. Well, no, fuck that, man. Like, there's, as I've said before, this is a gift to be here. And the biggest tragedy is not that bad things are happening, it's that people think that they need to happen, or that it's the only possibility, or that this is just what happens here. There's no potential for other to make better choices. And I think that's part of why I'm here, is to inspire people to make better choices and show them those that it is a choice. I see people all the time, like the black plague, the new black plague is an acceptance of these hopeless, one-sided, negative ideas and ways of thinking. That's what the next black plague is. All right? There's no there's no there's no way out. If you listen to these people, if you listen to the experts on the news and all the talking heads, They're going to tell you that there's no way out. You can only make the best of a bad situation. I think that's crap. I absolutely believe that that's bullshit. You, we can do better than that. We can transform not only your personal reality, but our coll- our collective reality. We can transform it. Food, nobody should have to worry about food. Nobody should have to worry about where they're going to stay or shelter. Nobody should have to worry about um, trading their time, trading their whole life to provide for their basic needs. I mean, think about it. That's crazy. That's crazy. What kind of subversive slavery system are we living in to where you have to get up and go to work, you have to go do something in order to buy food? And the price of food is constantly going up. And why is that? Well, because the people who are printing the money keep printing more money. So you can't work enough. I mean, I'm fortunate in my situation, but like most of the people at the job that I have, it's not a living wage. And the food prices keep rising. And everything is going up because the value of the dollar is sinking like a rock. So these people who are promoting these ideas of all those things that I just described that are fear based, lack based, it's time to scrap those ideas. It's time to abandon ship, as it were, and swim to shore. Because I can guarantee you, there are so many solutions. For every problem, there's like 10 solutions. And it's really not even a problem, it's an opportunity to learn and grow and incorporate some of these incredible ideas that have been put forth since, so since we were in high school or whatever. But I'm telling you, the people who are writing the history books, the people who are teaching your children, most of those people don't understand what kind of opportunities we're looking at here. We have the opportunity to end world hunger. And me, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy with the internet access. I don't have the resources of some of these countries. And yet, I've come across, I've already solved world hunger in my mind. I've solved it. It's not a problem. The problem is not that it's unachievable. The problem is that it's unbelievable. So that's what I think the next Black Plague is doubt, skepticism, a negative skepticism, not a healthy skepticism, but a negative self skepticism, um, and like cynical this cynical perspective of life, you know. And I want to just add that as far as like healing goes, a lot of the people, I just find it ironic that people would rather be sick with some kind of disease than let go of their preconceived notions of what they thought was possible in order to heal. Like, it's crazy to me that people would rather be sick than try something new that's going to make them maybe feel a little weird. It might feel a little weird to do something new. They might look a little goofy to their friends, but they're going to be healed. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy that people would rather be sick and suffering than whole, happy, and healthy. All for the sake of how they're perceived and letting go of their own preconceptions, whether they formed them on their own or they inherited them from the people who raised them, um, in order to be right. Like, people would rather be right. They'd rather be right than healthy and whole. So yeah, fuck the new Black Plague. It's time for healing, and it's time to get together and put an end to all this nonsense. Because while I don't see people suffering around me per se, I I I, I sense that there's a in an invisible and silent hopelessness that people walk around with, and that there has to be some kind of uh, gnarly, violent revolution for things to change. The revolution starts right here. Start it right here. Change your mind. Change the world. Love you. Have a great day. Peace.